What's up, YouTube? Let's talk about the TNA Impact Wrestling episode from January 8th, 2026. Now, I hate to say this, but I mean, as somebody who's been watching TNA Wrestling since 2003, I mean, when I watched this episode from January 8th, it really did not make me enthusiastic about watching TNA's big premiere debut on AMC. Now here they finally, after all these years, they're really taking things to the next level. They're going to AMC. They're getting off of Access TV. So, this is the biggest thing that's happened to them since they graduated from having their weekly show on Fox Sports Network and they moved to Spike TV back in like 2004, I believe it was. So I mean, here this should be like, I wish I had a lot more enthusiasm for them going to AMC, but I'm like, after watching this episode on January 8th, I'm like, oh my God, please don't tell me this is the kind of crap that they're going to put on AMC. I mean, they need to do better than this. I mean, they can do better than this. We know they can do better than this. So why are they like putting this kind of stuff out there? First match, it wasn't bad or anything like that. Okay, we have Harley Hudson out there with Miley Grace. She's out there versus Dani Luna. Okay, Dani Luna wins a solid, decisive victory. Okay, no problem. The next match, though, was where I was like, oh my God, don't tell me they're going to do horrible booking like this all throughout the show on AMC for their debut and all that. Because I don't know who in the world, like, who's writing the script for this show that thought this was a good idea, basically. Okay, so, all right, so for a good while now, as we know, okay, TNA, they've had a partnership with WWE, and people from WWE NXT can show up on TNA television, and people from TNA television can show up on WWE NXT television. So here we have this match here, and like, it's for the TNA International Championship. And we have Channing Stacks Lorenzo. He's a member of the current member of the WWE NXT roster, and he's out there. He's the TNA International Champion, okay? And he's out there with 5 other people from WWE NXT, and these people include Ariana Grace, Brooks Jensen, Lexis King, Tyreek Igwe, Tyson DuPont. Okay, all these people are out there from WWE NXT. Okay, now they're out there against Steve Maclin. Steve Maclin, he's a former TNA International Champion. He's going up against Channing Stacks Lorenzo. And, okay, so this match, which in theory, okay, when you see on paper, okay, Steve Maclin versus Channing Stacks Lorenzo, that looks like that would be an interesting match. But not the way they did it on this show. Oh, my God. They had, like, the whole match. They had to ruin it. Like, they had the first maybe 45 seconds were decent. Then after that, the whole damn time, they got 5 people, trying to interfere and, doing outside distractions and all that, all throughout the damn match. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? I mean, the whole time. So eventually, okay, and like, why, how, and of course the referee, they got the whole storyline bullcrap with, okay, the referee doesn't see it happen. The referee's got his back turned, and meanwhile, 3 or 4 people are interfering against Steve Maclin. It's like, come off it, And so basically the match ended with, okay, Ariana Grace, she gets into the ring, distracts Steve Maclin. Then a little while later, she gets into the ring, and now she's gouging Steve Maclin directly in the eyes, and the referee finally calls for a disqualification. It's like, really? This is the kind of garbage that you're going to put out, and you're finally you're stepping into the big leagues for the first time in a long time, going to AMC, and this is the kind of crap that you're going to put out. It's like, when I saw that match, how badly it was booked and everything like that, I felt like, you know what? I don't even want to see this premiere episode. This is the kind of absolute garbage. When I see garbage matches like this, I mean, they got all these people interfering nonstop. It makes me, in the past, I've watched crap like this. and it made me not want to watch any more wrestling whatsoever for another month and a half or more. I mean, and then it pisses me off because then it's like, I feel like, oh, okay, well, I haven't watched wrestling in a month and a half because I got so sick and tired of seeing the garbage that they put on some of these shows, and now I feel like, okay, now I got to go back and binge watch the last month and a half's worth of crap. Now I got to get caught up on all that crap that means I haven't been watching it in a month and a half. But I was so damn, like, absolutely disgusted with this match right here. I mean, I had to just shut the TV off and be like, all right, enough of this garbage. I can't take anymore. I'm sorry. I don't have the bandwidth to deal with any more of this absolute freaking garbage. I'm sorry. I mean, no reason to be putting shit like this on television when you're about ready to make a big debut. I'm sorry. So anyway, that's how all that went. So now we get this, we get the TNA injury report, and they're talking about, they do this on all the TNA Impact shows, and they talk about anybody that might be injured and stuff. The main one was, they say Mike Santana, he's got this TNA World Championship match next week on the AMC debut, but he's dealing with an arm injury right now. And they're talking about they're checking over a bunch of other people to see what the heck's going on with them. But anyway, the next match, we got match number 3. This was the best thing on the show. We have an 8-man tag team match here. And really, this was, definitely the best thing on the show. We had Eddie Edwards and Johnny Dango Curtis, that is known as JDC. He's formerly known as Fandango of WWE. If you haven't been watching TNA all that much, then we have Brian Myers. He's teaming up with Brian Myers, that's formerly Kurt Hawkins of WWE. And they're in there along with their cohort Moose. That's the 4th member of the team, and they're going up against the 4-man team of Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, the current TNA World Tag Team Champions. And they're in there also with Leon Slater, the current X Division Champion, and also Cedric Alexander. He's formerly of WWE also. So we have here, this is a match where Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Leon Slater, and Cedric Alexander won that match after Cedric Alexander pinned Moose after Moose tried to spear Cedric Alexander, but Cedric Alexander managed to stop him and managed to get him into a roll-up pin to win the match. So that's how that played out. Then the last part, the last 15, 16 minutes of this match, I mean, this really did not make you feel enthusiastic about the premiere on AMC. Now, this was a contract signing for the TNA World Championship match between Mike Santana, who is challenging Frankie Kazarian, the current TNA World Champion. Now, I mean, and no offense to anybody that's, that is a fan of Frankie Kazarian. I personally don't find the guy very entertaining. I'm sorry. I mean, the character that he portrays, he's basically a jerk that constantly cheats all the time, and he's just not very entertaining to me. I'm sorry. I mean, and I don't know if Vince McMahon thought the same thing of Frankie Kazarian, because I remember back in 2004, Frankie Kazarian was hired by WWE, and within 6 months, Vince McMahon got rid of him. I don't know if Vince McMahon really didn't see anything in the guy, and I could see that because I personally, now I don't agree with a lot of what Vince McMahon's ideas of things are, but maybe that's one thing I could say I agree on. Maybe that's if Vince McMahon got rid of him after 6 months, it was because he didn't really see anything in the guy. I mean, I don't find the guy very entertaining myself. And you watch this contract signing, and it was probably the most boring contract signing I'd ever seen. Normally these things go there's usually some big fight, and they have a cafeteria table set up in the ring, and they're somebody throws somebody else through the cafeteria table that's set up out there. Really nothing happened. It's they had Santino Marella, who's the TNA Director of Authority. he was out there, trying to get all this straightened out. And then you have, Nick Nemeth. He was formerly known as Dolph Ziggler in WWE. He comes out giving his 2 cents, throwing his 2 cents in, saying he wants to have the, he wants to, face the winner, for a world championship match, whoever wins that match and all that. But this is like, it was such a dull segment. It really, to me, it really didn't make me want to see this show at all. I mean, I mean, dear Lord, it's like, it just made me think. I mean, I'll go through the show, of course, I want to see what happens on it, but if they're going to be writing the show out, they're going to be writing that AMC debut show out like this. It's like, I'm really not very enthusiastic about watching it. And then they had these segments a couple times in the show where they had Elijah. He was formerly in WWE. He was known as the Drifter Elias Sampson. He had that catchphrase. Who wants to walk with Elias? Well, now in TNA they call him Elijah. For those that haven't been watching TNA all that much. And so he's out there in a couple segments of the show. Now he's chasing Mustafa Ali that used to be, in WWE. He's like chasing Mustafa Ali and his cohorts Tasha Steele and Jason Hodge and John Schuyler. He's on riding a horse chasing them around, and they're running around like they're a bunch of goofballs in some kind of slapstick comedy. It just looks so damn stupid and ridiculous. I mean, you're seeing these guys like running away from him riding a horse like they're like members of the Three Stooges or whatever, or Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello. It just looks so absolutely ridiculous. It's like, I don't know. It just made me think like, oh my God, this is going to be a boring show. I got a feeling. But I figure I'll watch it and see what happens. And, oh my God, I figure I'll at least see what maybe I figure they'll probably hire some new wrestlers, or they'll be bringing some new wrestlers into TNA, maybe some former WWE guys or former All Elite wrestlers and former, Ring of Honor people. Who knows? So I don't know. I look at these new wrestlers that came in from Ring of Honor and All Elite wrestlers wrestling. They're called the Righteous, Dutch and Vinny. It's like, I'll give them time and everything like that. I look at them and they remind me, it's like, Jesus, what are they supposed to be? Like a modern day version of like Cheech and Chong, or a modern day version of like the group Seals and Crofts? No disparaging against Seals and Crofts and Cheech and Chong. Hey, I'm a big fan of both those groups. Hey, Seals and Crofts, hey, I've got all their albums. They're great. It just seems weird seeing, two wrestlers in 2026 coming out dressed like those guys and whatever. I don't know. But anyway, it just, I'll give it a chance. I'll see what happens with the TNA's big debut on AMC. But after seeing their last episode on January 8th, I'm like, ugh. Because TNA, it's very hit or miss. Some weeks they got a decent show. Other weeks it's like, oh boy. It's like, if you don't watch it, trust me, you're not missing anything. Believe me. If you haven't watched the show in like 10 years, you're really not missing anything, honestly. Ay. Anyway, I think that's all I'm going to say about that for right now. And I figure I'll take a look at that episode that TNA had on the 15th of January, and I guess I'll report on that, give my opinion of that. Not that anybody gives two shakes of a rat's rear end about my opinion, but hey, I'll just put it up anyway, and there you have it.